talk a little bit about the first Georgia game? First Florida game. What happened in it, and maybe what's some of the things you want to try to prevent this time? And
Well, what happened in it are the same things we told them about Florida. They're very good, very talented. Broughton and Smith are, handful. You better get back in transition defense. You better stop dribble penetration. And you better keep them off the foul line. I think they lead the SEC now in free throw percentage on makes. You know how well they shoot it from there, but they're just tough kids, and they're just hard to stop. Makes and misses, man, they're taking off, and it's a team that if you just put the stats side by side, you wouldn't know which team is which because it's just two very similar teams. Cody, good to see you, baby. You been working all year? We hadn't seen you here, man. Okay, Cody. All right, Cody. Y'all know his mama was a basketball coach? All right. Y'all just got to get a little history from me if you don't.
Um, what have you seen from y'all's defense now going into this final stretches? How would you assess where y'all are at and how y'all continue to improve?
We do good in spurts, and a lot of that has to do with who we're playing. We get exposed when we play teams that spread the floor on you and they all shoot the three. We don't really do good at helping. But then you do good when you have teams that you match up with physically, Ole Miss, Georgia. We do really good. But they figure it out, just like last night, they figure it out. It's not any magic wand or anything I say to them. They know how close they are to doing some special things here of late.
Coach, you're going to do all your senior night stuff for like the Alabama game?
I'm going to say yes because it's the last regular season game, but my assistants are in charge of that. So I would think yes is the answer. Is that correct? There you go.
I was just curious because if you may have a sellout Sunday afternoon as opposed to the Thursday, I was just curious. But
I think we've always done it the last home game. Yeah. May have a sellout. It'll be a sellout.
just your thoughts on that. You talked about, one step at a time, one win at a time, getting past 9 wins, you're over 20, and the building's going to be full.
Well, there's so many things that I sit here talking to you guys about weekly, and that's another one. Would we have ever thought we'd have a sellout this year? Now think about that. I mean, that's a lot of people to put in a building, and the importance of the game makes it that much more significant. We're both tied with Tennessee for second in the league. A great team. It's going to be a fun game, and to think that I just know it's going to be a sellout. We just have to wait and see how many students show up, and whatever they don't take, we're going to sell those at the door the day of.
Just same vein, I got a couple, I guess. Your approach second time around on the same team, how much do you really try to mix it up against them? And then big picture, coming down to the wire, are you talking to the girls about jockeying for those spots? And
Absolutely, you talk about it. They know you can't hoodwink kids. They keep up with it, and they know things before I do. They knew that Tennessee was beaten by Alabama before I did after the game last night. So, and you want them to keep up with it, but we have to take care of what we can control. And I said this 6-7 games ago. We really control our own destiny. And you win out, you finish second in this league. If other people lose or win, then you get some help, but you don't count on that. Just take care of what you can control. And we have one more road game, and we have 2 at home, and this needs to be a good week for us at home. And I'm looking forward to Sunday's game, and might have to just pause a minute when I walk out to see that many people in the PMAC.
Kim, when you've been 8-time Coach of the Year nationally, and you get nominated for the Naismith Award, the Naismith Coaching Award. How do you put that in perspective? What do you think about, and does it still mean the same thing to you that the first time you got nominated?
Jim, none of that, honestly, in my life really has ever mattered to me. Most of the time, those awards are given to the person who wins a national championship. I don't know that there's been many, probably, and there may be. Maybe my memory's kind of failing me here, but usually it goes to the people who win the national championship. There's so many people coaching today that have done great jobs. I played against one last night. I'll play against one Sunday, and those guys are on an interim basis. I could name you 4 or 5. Now, there's also those teams that are underachieving, that have great talent and, quite frankly, aren't dominating. But I just don't think about those things. I tell myself always, I went to Louisiana Tech because I wanted to win a national championship. It wasn't about the individual honors. If that was the case, I would have gone someplace where I averaged 40 minutes a game and double figures for all 4 years, and who cares about that? I just care about championships, and I want all these kids to enjoy something that they've never experienced. Do you know, in that locker room, I asked them after the game last night, have you been in this position ever before in your college career? None of them have. What position is that? 22 wins, ranked where you are, a chance to host the first and second rounds, sell out. I mean, there's so many things, and I think they're handling it beautifully. I think we're helping them as a staff because we don't shy away from it. You tell them. You don't allow it to become something that's pressure. Make it fun. And it's about those kids. Look, all those awards, you don't get any of that if you don't have players.
Coach, going back to last night's game, you said after the game, and Lex talks about it after the game, where y'all were just in an offensive struggle.
Funk.
Yeah, funk. And Lex kind of just said she wanted the ball. How unique is that situation? And also, what does it say about her teammates to kind of embrace
Well,
that?
it's not unique in my coaching style. You've heard me say this. In those timeouts, there's moments where I will look at them and say, what do you want to run? Own this. What do you feel out there? What's going on out there? This is just my philosophy, is that they're going to listen to me, and 90% of what I say and do, they're going to do. But sometimes in tight games, you have to trust them to think the game. And Alexis did. She said, Coach, I want to run red hot. That means nothing to y'all, but it's a 1-4 flat. And she said, I want to take my guy off the dribble. Bam, it was a tie ball game, and she did. So guess what we ran again? Red hot again. That's good. KP has done that. Make them own it sometimes, and certainly when they're successful, it energizes them and the team. And I thought going to the smaller lineup in the fourth quarter was beneficial. I thought Iowa went in and did her job. I thought Autumn, who had been in the game a long time, both of them as smaller post players, helped us with all the dribble penetration.
Again, do you look at the numbers? Do you look at are you watching it every day? Does somebody watch it for you? The net and the old RPI and all that stuff?
Yes and no. I actually, I get a update weekly from the SEC office, and they have the net on there, and then they also have scores of games and then who we play the next week, and I happen to click on there, and I did look at the net, but that's been 3 or 4 days ago, and I think at that time it was 19. I don't know. Is it 17C? I don't even know that, Scott. Your net is going to continue to get better, even in losses, if you're playing ranked teams. So Florida, our nets are going to go up. Tennessee, our nets are going to go up. So, yeah, that's a good thing.
Have you been in this position with a team at Baylor where the expectations weren't that great, and then maybe you were in this position now where, like you said, there's a lot at stake. They haven't been in this position. Maybe you have, but the players haven't. Is there a season that you think back on that reminds you of this one?
Ooh, you're asking me to remember 38 years as an assistant and a head coach. I would think that we would have had to been in this position on that run in '05 when we won the first national championship at Baylor. You took a team that, didn't have numbers in front of their names. You took kids that you beat the bushes to get that maybe the so-called blue bloods didn't recruit. And I can remember Tempe, Arizona, when we went there and played in those playoff games. I can remember but the unique thing is the kids on this team in that locker room, I just said, they've never been in this position. And I talked to them about that last night. And what I mostly talked to them about was composure. We lost our composure in timeouts a little bit last night. And we have to do a better job of that. And you just address it. And you let them know, just follow my lead. Follow my lead. And they're so receptive. They look at you, and I told them, you'll always get honesty from me. I wasn't a very good coach last night. There were lots of instances in that game where I got frustrated. And yet competitors just find a way to win. And, it was a very loud crowd. It wasn't a huge crowd, but, guys, that may have been the rowdiest crowd of all the SEC arenas I've been in this year.
I was curious if this, I've never coached a team, but, I take my kids to Disney and love looking at them watch fireworks, right? So is this kind of reinvigorated you in a way that, man, I didn't know I needed this as much as I'm getting it?
No, it didn't reinvigorate. I think I've got a personality that just loves to compete, but it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good when I see those fans out there. It's like I've done this lots and lots in my life, and I get excited watching somebody get excited and be appreciative of what we're doing. And I get excited when I see those kids in that locker room happy and do something that, as I said, they have never done. And that doesn't reinvigorate. It just maybe reinforces that, Coach, you're blessed. You're blessed. And just keep doing what you're doing.
Coach, did Ryan Payne really kind of step up in some key spots for
Well,
you?
she did. And not just this game. Ryan hit a baseline jumper at A&M when we kind of went cold, and she hit a baseline jumper there. She went in last night, and she hit 2 or 3 buckets there. And, it's easy to see Alexis Morris and Kayla. They're leading scorers, that's easy. You can pick up a stat sheet and read that. But what's important to me is acknowledge plays during big moments in the game. Cherry hits a big bucket a few games ago with somebody right in her face. Ryan hits some buckets. Those things get acknowledged by me in the locker room.
And a couple weeks ago, just kind of off the cuff, you were complimenting the Florida coach. And why hasn't she gotten the job full time?
Did she get the job yet?
Not that I
I
know
don't
of.
know.
But
I
you-
can't see her not getting it. That woman has done some remarkable things with that team. Wow, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I think your comments, because of who you are, kind of resonated over there with, if Kim Mulkey thinks she's good enough for the job, then she is. But you're obviously still impressed with the job she's doing.
Well, she was picked 11th in the league, and she's tied for second. And I've always believed, guys, you just acknowledge other people when you see them do something good or great. I've just never been a insecure person that can't do that. If you kick my rear end, I'm not going to be happy, but I'm going to shake your hand and go, one day I'm going to beat you. Pat Summit did that when I was at Louisiana Tech. I won't ever forget it. She told Leon, she said, if the last thing I do before I die is beat Louisiana Tech, and she played us and played us and played us and played us, it's people who can't acknowledge other people and other players and greatness and what they see. I just find that very insecure. I'm secure in everything that I do in life. I don't always make the right decisions, and when I don't, I tell the kids. But how many times have you heard me acknowledge the previous staff here, guys? I don't have to do that. But the truth is, they recruited those seniors. With the exception of 2 transfers that came with me, I'm coaching their kids. I have no problem acknowledging that because I'm secure in who I am. But you don't see that a lot, Jock. You don't. The young man, the gentleman last night, I've never met that Mississippi State coach. With about 4 seconds to go, he starts walking toward me, and the game, is over, but, you just had to inbound it. Curious, nosy people in media want to know what you said to him. Sometimes I say things I'm not going to share, but I didn't mind saying what I said to him. Coach of the year with what you doing, big guy. That's all I said to him. 7 players, you lose your best player a month ago, and you're, 4-2 since that point. You just acknowledge it.
Got time for a couple more questions, guys.
What do you need out of your bigs, I guess, if you're looking to make some runs?
We just need more offensive production. We're getting everything defensively and everything in rebounding. I have seen them at their best offensively, and we just need to do that on a more consistent basis. And it's not just them finishing shots. I've got to get our perimeter players to throw it in there again if they miss a shot. Keep throwing it in there again if they miss a shot. Just a confidence thing.
Anything else? Scott?
I don't know if you want to answer this, but you seem to have a lot of pieces that you want to have going into March. You got a good guard play. You got 3 people bring it up the court. You have size. You have pretty good depth. Maybe is there anything that you like? Boy, I wish we had this, but I mean, obviously you can't change anything right now. Is there anything you wish you had, or you feel like you have a pretty good team for the postseason?
Well, you never can have more talent. I think you never can have too much depth. But that's greedy and that's selfish. So you go coach what you have. And I can't get any more out and squeeze any more out of this turnip than I'm squeezing. Right? 22-4. And I tend to forget about those 22 wins. I go and still evaluate the 4 losses and think, what could I have done different? What if we see those guys again? What will we do different? And I don't know if that's a personality trait, but that's, how I view it is, are we overachieving? Are we underachieving? Are we doing just about what we should be doing? I think we're off the chart in what we're doing. And that includes if we lose the first round of the playoffs. That includes if we lose in a Sweet 16. Guys, nobody in this women's basketball can say we expected to do what we're doing. Nobody. All right, we good?